So, RFK just got his ass whooped. I don't know who let this boy out the crack house. I don't know what made RFK think to put. He needs to pick the crack back up. I'm like Boosie. I'm about to advocate for crack. I would much rather crack. I would much rather RFK rekindle his long-term relationship with crack than be the head of Health and Human Services. RFK, if you needed anybody to encourage you to resume drug use and possibly the destruction of your life, I'm in full support. Whenever you want to resume that, I'm in full support. RFK, in light of his abandonment of whatever he was doing before he cursed American politics, was at a Senate hearing recently in which he got his ass absolutely whooped by Democratic senators. We're going to watch this video because it's fire. It's fire.
Mr. Secretary, I agree with a lot of my colleagues' statement. I actually had hoped I didn't support you. I thought taking on chronic illnesses was going to be important. I've got 2 kids, as we discussed when you met, that have chronic illnesses. I'm not sure that the focus on red dye and seed oils are going to fully solve that problem.
Of course they won't.
I would say this, that seems where your emphasis is. I want to go back to just, again, some basic facts. Do you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there were so many perverse incentives. And these are modeled
You don't know the answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved lives?
And that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal.
So who is politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go to the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Graf. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Kaus.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID.
Basically, what RFK is saying is they fired everyone who agrees with me. And because they fired everyone who agrees with me, their data is now chaos data. It's now chaotic. It's now untrustworthy. I, with no actual degree in any form of statistics, I have no business determining what kind of data is or isn't real. I have no degree in any sort of medicinal field. I, RFK, who only specializes in being a drug addict and a lunatic, I, RFK, have declared data collected by actual professionals, put in charge by an actual grown-ass adult, Joseph Robinette Biden. I declare their data chaotic and unreliable. And this is a man who does not know how many Americans died as a result of COVID, but he's at the head of Health and Human Services, has been at the head of that for 8 months. This is the opposite of DEI, according to MAGA, is unqualified, uneducated, immature, psychotic, straight white males who have literally zero to offer this nation besides mayhem and destruction. There are plenty of straight white males who are qualified for this job. See, the problem is qualification tends to run hand in hand with maturity, loyalty to the Constitution, things like that. Pesky little, annoying things that really irks Donald Trump. Trump's not looking for qualification. Trump's not looking for education. Trump's not looking for professionalism. What that man is looking for is loyalty. Be loyal to me. Be loyal to me above all else. Be more loyal to me than the American people, more loyal to me than the Constitution, more loyal to me than God. That is what Donald Trump demands from those who serve him. And that is why RFK Jr. can proudly sit there, ignorant as a brick, proud of it. And his excuse for his ignorance is they don't actually approve of the people who disagree with the orthodoxy, and me, someone with no education, is calling it out. A nigga with no education. Make this shit make sense. Make this shit make sense.
Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant? Like, you know, I remember when we went through the hearing with you, I asked you about community health centers. You didn't know what role they play. I've been visiting community. I'm glad you got to one, I think in April. I tell you what I hear on community health centers, they are terrified. With all due respect to my good friend, the chairman, of the big awful bill, because they are going to lose health care across the board. They already live in food deserts. They can't get to a nutritionist because Medicaid doesn't do enough reimbursement. If you're going to want Americans to get healthier, should they have access to nutritionists? Should they have access to good science about healthy food?
Absolutely.
Well, then how is that going to happen with the Medicaid cuts that are taking place?
There are no cuts to Medicaid.
Sir, that is an absurd. There is not a single, some of my Republican colleagues, but there was not a single study that does not, and I can tell you, I was in Franklin, Virginia a couple days ago. The rural hospital is going to close. The hospital system was so afraid they wouldn't even let me have the meeting there. But that rural hospital is going to close.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a piece of fucking shit. I fucking hate this person with every fiber of my being. There is no constant Medicaid. Fucking like, what is taking the universe so long for these niggas to just drop already? What's going on? Bro, can somebody pull up the timer? How many points are we down right now? We're down 100 points. The Antichrist refuses to take his last breath. His little stooge who's addicted to crack and heroin is destroying the country. There are no constant Medicaid. The nigga who swims in poop water. This is the guy who's running the show here, right? This is an individual so sick and twisted, I'm willing to bet you a significant amount of money he either took antibiotics before he got in that poop water or he took them shortly thereafter. This is not a man who is in any way, shape, or form trustworthy. After getting his ass whooped by Mark Warner, Mark Warner's 70 years old. I'm just now finding this out. Mark Warner looks like a slick 50 years old. Dude's 70. I'm not gonna lie, that's a young 70. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mark Warner. He clearly got the health regimen that RFK been searching for. Crazy. Bernie Sanders put belt to ass shortly after. Let's watch that too.
President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern-day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. Oh, I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine was perfectly matched to the virus that was circulating then. And I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
This nigga said the vaccine saved quite a few. He doesn't know how many lives it saved. And he's talking about Trump getting people back to work. Boy, do I, bro. The video I'm about to make about Trump and his unemployment shit, but this orange fuck nigga got me sick. Let me tell y'all something. RFK Jr. is a bitch. Anyways, keep watching.
You know, what I find a little bit weird in this discussion, I'm hearing it over and over again this morning, Mr. Chairman, is we've got the entire medical community on one side. You got the AMA representing hundreds of thousands of doctors, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Public Health Association. All of these organizations are telling us that COVID vaccine and vaccines in general are safe and effective. You are casting doubt on that. Who are who are the organizations that are agreeing with you and casting aspersions on vaccines?
The primary advisors are Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, Vinay Prasad.
So you got a few doctors who agree with you, and I'm giving you the
Not a
name.
few doctors. What you're talking about is there's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical
Oh, hold on. So
industry.
you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors.
And I'm
the
telling
American
you,
Academy of Pediatrics, the American, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food
Everybody
industry.
but you, Senator.
Why is Bernie so soft at this stage in the game? Bernie, why are you afraid to be political? These fuck-ass, bitch-ass, suck-ass, Republican-ass niggas be sitting there after the big bullshit bill got through. That should have been the moment that we all realized and recognized that the Republican Party is an active national security threat to this nation and an active threat to the health of this nation. For RFK to sit there and talk about, this nigga said Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, who literally sat there and told Americans it's not the government's responsibility to render you any sort of medicinal care at all. It is your patriotic duty to remain healthy, despite the fact that the most unhealthy states in this country are red states. Red states. Despite the fact that the most unhealthy states in this country are red, despite the fact that the most fat, obese people in this country vote red, despite all of that, they have the audacity to sit there and fix their mouths and say, it is your patriotic duty to remain healthy so the government doesn't have to spend money on you? Excuse us. So our tax dollars are good enough to make you rich, to get you these shady investments and all this crypto fuckery, but it's a little bit too much on you to take our money and spend it back on us? I swear to God, Republican voters are house niggas. There's Steven from Django. The rest of us are trying to get off the plantation, and every time we make an attempt, conservative voters be the first ones to say, look, look, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a voting base of willing servants. Willing slaves. RFK quotes 3 doctors, and he sits there and there's a difference between established science and the scientific establishment. And how in the fuck could Dr. Oz be established science when he's sitting there peddling nonsensical pseudoscience alongside yo motherfucking borderline orange skin heroin blood ass? Make that math add up. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. He quotes 3 doctors and then sits there and claims that there's a difference between scientific establishment and established science. Bitch, you don't have a degree. How would you know the difference between the two? The difference between me and you, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., besides the drug addiction, is you got to understand and realize, big homie, you don't have any qualifications and you don't accept that. See, I can accept the fact that I don't know a goddamn thing about medicine. I refer to those who are established in that field. RFK will sit there and talk about it's co-opted and the corruption and they're bought and paid for. What about the entire political party that you support, the Republican Party? Donald Trump has done everything in his power to make medicine more expensive, more unaffordable, more unreachable, and you have the audacity to fix your mouth toward established doctors and pretend like they're all in on some Illuminati conspiracy theory? The Kennedys need to come out and disown this fucking nigga. I know they already said not to vote for him, but y'all need to y'all need to just like do a ritual. Y'all need to just like, y'all need to do some kind of ritual. Go live on Kick, on Twitch, something. Do some kind of ritual and disown this nigga because Lord have mercy. If I ever bring about, no, this is crazy. Nah, no. No. Kennedys, y'all need to do something about this boy. He's out of control. He's out of fucking control. And the fact that he can sit there and say, don't take medical advice from me, and then sit there and pollute not only America's bodies, but America's minds, the minds of the Americans, the mind of this country, the mind of America, he pollutes with his fuckery, and this is acceptable? Donald Trump, God, please sort these people out. Because at this point, this nation doesn't have the maturity necessary to sort this out. Our best bet is God at this point. That's our best bet. Unbelievable. This bitch got his ass whooped though. He got pressed. He got pressed by the Democratic senators, and I'm proud of them. But you know, Bernie, stop being afraid to be political with these pussy ass, sucker ass, lame ass niggas. Frankly, Bernie, you've earned the right to be as political as you want to be. Even the fucking far right Nazis are tired of Trump. Why can't we all be tired of Trump? With that being said, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share my shorts. Share my videos. Let's build. Follow me on Instagram. You know what it is. Have a nice day. I'm out.